Hey everyone, I'm Taluka from Markers and Minions. This short video is part of my series of Sunday videos where I share my tips based on my experience using Benchmark Advance in my own classroom. Today's video is the final video of this series. Before I jump into today's topic, I want to let you know that I'll be launching my online course, Fitting It All In using Benchmark Advance, next week. It's dedicated to teaching all of my tips, tricks, strategies, for implementing Benchmark Advance and making it more teacher and student-friendly with student-friendly approaches. I'll teach you how to make the different components of the program work for you, efficient planning strategies, and we'll talk about how to make your units more accessible and engaging for your students. So if you'd like to be notified when the course seats open up for enrollment next week, just join the waitlist using the link in my caption and I'll be sure to email you once seats open up. So today, I want to talk about creating anchor charts. I've always been a marker and butcher paper kind of teacher. It's actually where I got the inspiration for Markers and Minions in my brand name. So give me like a scented Mr. Sketch marker and I'm in my teaching element. So today, I want to give you 2 reasons why I create anchor charts for my students. The first reason is that this is my favorite way to scaffold an ELA unit with complex text. And we all know that the benchmark student magazines and their readers are full of complex text around complex topics that might not always be accessible, understood well, or that engaging, right? So whenever there's an upcoming unit of study that I know contains a topic that's going to be new to the students or that has a lot of new domain-specific vocabulary, I create an anchor chart to introduce the unit. And I actually use this chart to pre-teach the unit before we even look at the text, before I even pass out the student readers. So when this typically happens is like the Thursday or Friday, the week before we start a new unit, as I'm wrapping up the last unit, okay? So I find that the perfect anchor chart will provide students with enough background knowledge that they need in order to be successful in their ELA unit, okay? Because you've laid that foundation, they have the background knowledge, they've heard the vocabulary, they know what to expect, and then once they do get to their text and they are reading, you're making those connections for them, okay? So they're able to reference the chart and be like, hey, we just learned about this, or hey, I just heard that word, or here's an example, all right? Okay, and the second reason why I love to make anchor charts is that it can invite your students to like the front row of their own learning, right? So usually when teachers create anchor charts, they go to Pinterest because Pinterest is amazing. But anyway, they'll look for a chart that matches the specific reading strategy or a specific standard, right? So they'll find a chart on main idea and key details, for example, and then they'll sit in their prep time and then create the chart, copying what they see on Pinterest, and then the chart's ready to go, and then they present it to students, right? So essentially the kids are just looking at decoration on the walls afterwards, right? After you've just presented it to them. Now the way I use anchor charts is I design them based on what my kids will be reading about, right? So not a chart on what key details and main idea is or means, it's about the big picture, it's the topic, and then I will weave in the specific reading skills or strategies that I'm going to be expecting my students to learn in that unit. So I'll weave in key details and main idea or an example of author's purpose or cause and effect or inferencing, right? So the chart is a broader picture of the unit with the skills and strategies woven in. I like to make the chart in pencil. So you can still use your prep time ahead of time to make sure that you've got a good looking chart that encompasses a good teaching tool, right? Encompasses everything that you want to touch on, but you can do it lightly in pencil. And then once it's time to teach the chart, you can invite your students down to the carpet, to the front row, even if they're big kids, and you can go over the chart with marker as you are teaching it. So this is really powerful because you're not just giving them a bunch of stuff to look at right away. Like, hey, look at this, right? You're actually going from section to section and making the chart come to life when you are using the markers and going over you're tracing over the pencil. And you can even color code the different sections as well. So it really invites them to engage with the chart, interact with the chart, look to see what's coming next. You can pause and ask them, check for understanding questions or clarifying questions, turn to your partner, and then go to the next section of the chart. So it's really a teaching tool instead of, just something that you're going to present, hopefully reference once it's eventually on the wall. With this chart, because it's something that they've actively engaged in, they're going to remember it more, it's going to stick better, and then once they're reading, they're going to naturally make connections to the chart, no matter where it's displayed in your classroom. All right, so for your next unit, try designing a chart that you can use to scaffold unit concepts and tricky vocabulary. You'll see student engagement, you'll build background knowledge that we all know is really important, right, when we want students to be successful in their reading. This is just one of the things you'll learn in my online course, Fitting It All In Using Benchmark Advance. This year, I'm only opening up one cohort, and the seats are going to be opening up next week. So if you're interested in joining this July cohort of the course, please use the link in the caption to sign up for the waitlist, and I'll be sure to notify you once seats open up. And I get this question a lot. What if I join and then I cannot keep up the cohort, or I don't actually want to take the course just yet because it's still summer break or whatever? I totally get it. While the cohort is temporary, it's about 6-7 weeks, the course is not. The course is for a lifetime. You'll always be able to log onto your course platform, access the videos, the lessons, the handouts, the templates, all of that forever. So you can take it in September, you can take it again in December, you can take it again next May. It's up to you. It's yours forever. All right, so that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.